Hello, my name is David Mason. I work with Nobles Consulting Group, and today we're going to go over how to establish a flight path using the DJI ground station software on a desktop or a laptop, as the case may be. You may note that while it's loading up, it was looking for an internet connection, as there is a Google Earth link. So you may note that it more or less zoomed into the location that we're at. It did this because of the home point. It typically will zoom to the home point. The home point is here because we have already done the flight on this area. There are several different options for establishing a flight path or flight plan. The option that we will use today is the Photogrammetry Tool that's found in the toolbox. The area of interest is just around the community center where we all are. So we opened up the Photogrammetry Tool, and in the Photogrammetry Tool you enter in the focal length of the lens of the camera that you're using. In this case, we were using a GoPro camera on a DJI Phantom 2 with a Zenmuse H3 3D gimbal. Our focal length is 3 millimeters. Then you can enter in the sensor height and width, which is shown here. And you can enter in the height at which you would like to fly and your target overlap, your horizontal speed and your vertical speed, and you can enter in, you can decide your turn mode, adaptive bank and turn, which is more of a sweeping turn as opposed to a stop and turn. I typically choose to stop and turn because it allows me to see better where the airframe is in the flight path. And so from here we just click on the region that we want to scan and we select that, and what you get is a shaded green box. You can see the center of the box is the push pin in the center, and you have a red and yellow push pin. Those can be adjusted around. So what we're going to do is we're going to rotate this a bit. And then adjust it to the area that we want. And that's just about the area that we need. There's a road that runs out here. I didn't want to get off site if I could help it. So based on the given parameters, we select preview. And you can see that it automatically establishes the flight path. And you may note that there are 13 waypoints, beginning with 0, ending with 13. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flight legs, so to speak. The blue number at the push pin is the elevation at that waypoint. That would be above ground level. And the yellow is the distance between each path. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave 0 right where it is. I kind of like that. But first, before we go to editing, we're going to go ahead and generate the flight path. So we generated it, and you may note that it ties it all together in a loop. We will adjust that accordingly. And on the left hand side you can see the total estimated time of flight is about 12.5 minutes. Our limiting factor for our particular airframe is about 10 minutes, absolute maximum. And you can note that it also gives a distance of round trip. But what we're going to do, we don't want to go round trip, so we're going to come over to the editor, which is on the right of your screen here. And we are going to select editing mission, and under mission properties below that we will change that to start to end, and that trimmed about a minute off of our flight path. Okay, another thing that we're going to do to kind of trim our time a little bit is the hold time for each particular waypoint is 3 seconds. We don't really need 3 seconds here, so we're going to change this to 1 second. Granted, that's not a whole lot of time over the 2 seconds for each waypoint. It's not a whole lot of time, but every little bit helps. Another reason I like to do the stop and turn is if it's a little bit of a windy day. If you do the adaptive bank and turn, sometimes it turns a little bit, has to turn a little bit too hard, and you'll actually see the foot of the airframe in the photograph. So we would, all right. So we have changed our hold time from 3 seconds to 1 second at each waypoint. And let's take a look at our flight path, and we will do a little more editing with that just to trim the time down just a little bit. As you can see, we're really kind of interested in just the area around the community center on the northwest side. Up in this area, we're flying over here that we don't really need information on. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate 14, which I come over here and I select and say minus. So I eliminated 14, and I would like the aircraft to be close to home point at the end of the route. So I'm going to bring 13 over close to where our home point is. The home point that you see, well, the arrow that you see here is the established home point that was established from when we actually came out and flew this. And I'm also going to move 0 a little closer to the home point. And that has trimmed us up a little bit. We're down to just over 10 minutes. Well, closer to 11 actually, 10 minutes and 40 seconds. So I'm going to shorten this flight path because we don't really need to cover all that area. And shorten this one to try to keep the lines as parallel as I can. And I'm going to bring these in just a little bit. And we're right at 10 minutes. And I think I'm going to save this just as it is. We'll go to save, and we'll save the flight path as Woodville Community Center 4. And that is how you set up a flight plan in the DJI ground station.